Hello and welcome to My Pagan Pathworks. My name is Lisa and I am really happy to have you here today. If you are new to the channel, I invite you to like and subscribe to help us grow. And if you're a returning subscriber, thank you so very much for coming back. And so in today's video, I am really excited to be able to finish up our exploration of the Suite of Swords. So today we are going to talk about the King of Swords. So if you are interested in learning a little bit more about the King of Swords with me, then stay tuned. So thank you so very much for staying with me today. And I'm really excited about this is the first time I've done a video series and I've done start to finish. So we started with the Ace of Swords a few weeks ago, and today we're topping it off with the King of Swords. So if you have not been following along in the series, the Suite of Swords is associated with the element of air. And since it's associated with the element of air, it's also associated with the air signs of Libra, Gemini, and Aquarius. And so I can really relate to the Suite of Swords because my sun sign is a Libra. And air has always, the element of air has always been associated with the our mind, and our knowledge and our intellect. So it's fitting that the Suite of Swords is also connected to air. So the suite is about our ability to communicate. It's about our intellect, and it's about our interaction with other humans or with our internal self, both on the good side and the bad side. So to me, this suite, the first 10 cards in the suite represent our progression, with the ace being pure intellect and the 10 being total betrayal. And so we explore both the light side of the soul and the dark side of the soul, or the intellect, in the Suite of Swords, and everything that goes with all of those human conditions. The court cards usually represent people, not always, but they usually represent people. And it really just depends on if it's another card in the spread. All the cards in the spread will usually tell you if it's talking about a person or the energy of the card itself. So now it's time to talk about the king. And before we talk about the King of Swords, I am going to stop the video and show you a still shot, a still shot of all of the examples of the King of Swords that I have. Okay, let's talk about that king. As you might imagine, the King of Swords has very masculine energy. But keep in mind that it doesn't always mean, if it represents a person, it doesn't always mean that it's a male. We know in our modern age that gender is really fluid right now. And it doesn't, just because that person's physical attributes are male or female, it doesn't necessarily mean they're going to identify with that gender. So it's important nowadays to to think of it in terms of an energetic rather than a physical attribute. It could be the person may be very female but exhibit all the traits of that card. So it's very important to keep that in mind. And to me, when we're talking about the kings in general, and this is just my opinion, and it may change as I learn more about the cards, but to me, the kings in the minor arcana are it's like the crowning point of that suite. It's where depending on whether the card is upside down or right side up, it could be that you have mastered what the focal point of that suite. Like in terms of swords, we're talking about intellect. And so a king might be somebody who has mastered the mind. It's the top of the stack. And I think that's the case with all the suites really. But in particularly swords in particular, this is very relevant. So the card, the King of Swords it's a cross between the element of fire and the element of air. So when it represents a person and it's upright, you can expect someone that's very passionate about their ideas. You get a really mixed bag with this king because on the one hand, he can be cruel and cold and unfeeling, but on the other hand, he can also be fair and just. You're talking about someone who's rules his life by his intellect and not by his emotions. And this is someone that's very analytical. They'll consider all the angles and before they ever make a decision, but once they make a decision, they're going to stick to it and they're going to be relentless and unstoppable. And because of that aloofness, they don't really make very good friends. People who represent this it's more the ultimate it's the ultimate authority figure. That's what this guy represents. He's the ultimate authority figure. He will make the hard decisions regardless of what it costs in or who it hurts. Sometimes if it's necessary. So they don't want any brownie points in the friends department and or relationships department because sometimes they're ruled too much by logic than they are anything else. In the reverse, but when it represents a person in the reverse, this person is just ruthless. My analogy for the King of Swords in reverse is that this is the cold, calculated narcissist that is intent on success and succeeding, and it doesn't matter who he has to run over or who he's got to hurt. It's just they use whatever weapons they have to ensure that they are absolute successful. So they're just this is the absolute worst enemy you could have if this card shows up in reverse. So just beware of this guy when he's in reverse. He's not very friendly. So when this card represents a situation instead of a person, it's really it's a call to action. It tells us to do some careful consideration, but take some action. Just thinking about it's not going to help you with the situation that you're in. Sometimes you've got to move ahead with actions, or yes, move ahead with actions fueled by solid strategy and by careful thinking, and if needed, a little bit of ruthlessness, because sometimes you might have to be. Life is not always all sun and happiness and the light. It's just not. Um, so this card is a reminder to not stick your head in the sand. Don't stick your head in the sand and ignore a situation hoping it will go away. Because in this particular, when it represents a situation, it's not going to go away, and you're going to have to stand up and with a clear mind and a clear head, do something about it and take some action. When this card is in reverse, it's the absolute opposite. It's like it is your call to stand down. You are the problem, in essence. You've taken steps and you've made the situation worse instead of better. And in some cases, you might have instigated this controversy that you're in. It's time to back out of the situation and let someone else take the lead and stop pushing your own agenda, because it's not going to end well for you. So when you get the king in reverse and it represents a situation, it's time to take a major step back. So that brings us to the end of the Suite of Swords. I have really enjoyed getting to know the cards much better. I feel that I'm a much better reader after having done all this research into the swords and dug deeper than the little books that come with this that come with the decks. Those books are very helpful and they give you a lot of keywords to help jog your memory. But the more you dig, the more you realize tarot is about the human condition. It's your personal counselor. It puts you in touch with your own intuition. So anyway, I've really enjoyed this, and I hope that you have enjoyed it too. I invite you to come back to the blog again next week. We will be discussing the Ace of Cups. I've decided to do Cups next, so we'll be starting a new series with the Ace of Cups next week. So I hope that you will come back and join us then. And I also invite you to like the video and subscribe to the channel. And don't forget to hit the little bell so you can get notifications when I upload a new video. I thank you so very much for watching, and many blessings.